Welcome to I'm In with the ARCC. Thanks for joining us today. I am your host, Amanda Blanton, Vice President, Marketing and Communications for the Adirondack Regional Chamber of Commerce. And today my guest is Steve Mattison. He's the owner of Bee Bramble. Steve, welcome to the show.
It's great to be here. Nice to chat with you, Amanda.
I know, always.
And everyone else.
Awesome. Thank you. I know I've had you on the show before, probably in a couple of other capacities. You're a busy guy. But today we want to talk about Bee Bramble, which is a business that you have built with your wife, Karen, and it's probably a whole family affair at this point. But I'd love to hear the story behind the business, if you don't mind. And I know you're a great storyteller, so everyone buckle up. Settle in.
So Karen and I had saved quite a lot of money waiting tables in Saratoga the year prior to our last year of college. We both finished off business degrees over at the College of St. Joseph over in Vermont.
Okay.
And we had planned to get married that summer. And we said, well, geez, we saved quite a lot of money waiting tables. Do we take an amazing honeymoon or do we buy land?
Oh, the age-old question.
So we ended up finding a great place over in Argyle, New York, over near Casiuna Lake. And we purchased that. And then I played lumberjack for the summer and got a camper in there, and we lived there. And then not too long after that, we built our home. And then after that, we ended up cobbling it together into over 60 acres with a myriad of things going on.
Wow.
An arts-based homestead.
Yep. And when you say build, do you quite literally mean build?
I designed it.
Okay.
At that time, I was not nearly as handy as I am now.
Okay.
And it was because I grew up in Hudson Falls on just in a regular house, and we did not do these things. Yeah. So everything for Bee Bramble grew out of the need for nice things, but not having the money for nice things. So I just gathered a myriad of different skills because I'm stubborn and curious. And eventually it turned into my profession. But along the way, I worked as a sales rep on the distribution side of the paintball industry.
Okay.
And after that, I worked as an RN for a few years in the medical surgical area mostly. Okay. And then my business got busy enough where I just went full on in that.
Sure. So you've had quite a journey to get to today with lots of different experiences. But as you know, and you and I have talked, off the air, about how every little decision you make shapes you into the person that you are today.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does.
You've come quite a far way.
Yeah, from the get-go, we talked about it, in the sense that a good life is designed and not endured. And we try to work that in with the way that we raised our children. And our chief product is children.
Okay.
Everything else is out of that. So the entire art-based homestead thing, yes, we needed nice things. And, oh, geez, I can do that. And, wow, this is marketable. I never saw that coming. And so just kind of cobbled together everything from there. And right now we have a sawmill. We're commercially viable for edible mushrooms, now shiitakes, and also chestnut mushrooms. We have a pottery studio. We have a homestead retail, carpentry shop, a metal casting shop, blacksmith shop, and I'm working on a new 3D printing with a large format and regular for need for that, because I do a lot of CAD design as well. It's a lot of the core of my work.
That's really incredible, really cool. And all these skills that you've picked up, the woodworking, the blacksmithing, is that all self-taught?
Yeah, I've had some mentors here and there, but mostly it's just we live in such a great age as far as the ability to do research.
Yep.
And also, if you need to get a part or you need to get materials, you can do most anything you want.
Sure.
It's more just picking and choosing, where you want your life to go. That's really been a lot of it for us. And then trying to weave it into everything that just makes sense for us.
Yeah.
And it's a really fun life. And
Absolutely.
it's somewhere along the way it became profitable too. That's pretty great.
That's not a bad deal. And I know that you surround yourself with amazing people, right? You mentioned some mentors, but it really is who you interact with, the people that you come across that you can learn from or maybe teach something too, right?
It's both.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing of it is the stuff that you can learn from just every person around you, and it's impressive. And I, for one, when I do gain a mentor, one of the things that I look for is a person who will tell me they don't know. Because I don't care how much experience you have, the lack of knowledge is still something that you have. Sure. And I always try to do that with people that I mentor as well.
Yeah. No, that makes complete sense. So I got to know the name, Bee Bramble. I mean, it rolls right off the tongue. I love it as a marketer. It's great. But why did you choose the name?
Oh, gosh. So in a way, it's a little bit like Abercrombie and Fitch, and originally they were a sports goods company.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So they went into all the fashion stuff. I don't know exactly what that transfer was, but I'm a beekeeper, so they're the bees, and then we were going to use land that we had to do a berry farm.
Aha.
And originally I was going to take over the world with bees, and I did pretty well with it for a while, and then over time, just a lot of the other things that I had to learn to do on the homestead, they became a lot more profitable. So I always will have honey for sale and bees here and there. Actually, I have way too much honey right now and no bees. But yeah, it's kind of in that it just is evolved over time, and I really liked the name.
Yeah, no, I love it too. It rolls right off the tongue. And I was glad that you brought up the beekeeping part, because we're so fortunate at our office. We get honey from you guys all the time. Yeah. And it's always great to get it locally and know that it's sustainably sourced and everything. And you're the bee dude.
yeah. One of many. I mean, there are a lot of beekeepers around, both small scale and larger in the area. I mean, we are an area full of talented, neat people.
Absolutely. I would agree with that. You probably know a lot of them. So.
I know some of them, and I know more of them every year, which is just great.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Steve, for sharing the story behind Bee Bramble. It's been a journey.
Yeah.
And we know you love what you do. The bonus is that you make money, right?
Yeah.
That's always a good thing. You, before the show, had mentioned a new addition to your many talents and your many offerings called the Art Wagon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about it.
So the Art Wagon came out of requests that I would get on the fairly regular to go and do blacksmithing somewhere.
Sure.
And I built the Art Wagon so that it could do a myriad of different tasks. So of course, it's great for blacksmithing. I've done production work and demonstrations and even a little bit of teaching on it, which is great.
Nice.
But other than that, I've also used it for printmaking because the fly press that I put on it is a fantastic platform for doing block printing and even printing on clothing. And aside from that, there's other tools on there for different disciplines. And over time, I hope to bring it places and have a myriad of artisans use it as a core of infrastructure for neat things.
I love that. You know what is the best part about you, Steve? Is you create these things and you create opportunities to share with others. This isn't like the Art Wagon is not yours and only yours. You want people to use it, to learn on it.
Yes. Both Karen and I, we're it's kind of core stuff for us. You operate with support and abundant decency. And the idea of nice people finishing last, it does not have to be that thing.
Sure.
If you treat people with respect and fairness, the amount of business that will come your way is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're a living example of that. So
I'm happy it worked.
Yeah. And, unfortunately for everyone here, they can't see a photo of the Art Wagon, but could you try to describe it for us?
So in one corner, there is the blacksmith forge, which is plumbed to propane. It's a small night forge. And then off of there, I have a T that will go to different types of equipment for metal casting in the field. There's an anvil, of course, and a fly press is a very large piece of equipment, large cast iron body with a center screw, and they have these weights on either side of the arms, and they're an absolute dream to work with all sorts of things. I actually deal in them. This year alone, I've received over 15 tons of antique blacksmithing equipment from Europe, and I resell them in the States.
That is For those of you listening, just imagine what that looks like, right?
It's a very organized warehouse that has a gantry system and everything.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And again, and we talked about this before the show, bringing this equipment over from overseas to sell in the United States. It's not even always about profit. It's about getting these materials and these machines to people who want them, right?
It is, and it's funny because it's a really neat market. So I'll have people who are absolute collectors, and they come to me, and they're like, "Wow, that thing is here!" Because it's really hard to find smaller anvils, and it's really hard to find larger anvils. So the largest I have in right now is 730 pounds, and that's like unheard of in the States, pretty much, because most of our equipment went right to the recycling bin for World War II. And I believe England, they just couldn't get to it. They couldn't do the military production that we could because they didn't have the time. Okay. So there's a lot of stuff that's still over in the UK in general.
Wow. And you're just going to get it all over here, it sounds like.
I've got a bunch of it here.
That's so cool. So sorry, I know we're jumping around, and we knew we were going to do that.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So back to the art wagon really quick. This is 100% portable.
Yeah.
It's towable behind one of your vehicles, I take it.
Oh, yeah. That's great. It's basically perfectly balanced over the axle. And it moves like a dream. And as far as infrastructure, it's really tight. I'm really tickled that it came out as well as it did.
I love it. And I take it you built it?
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Well, I have a lot of neat things kicking around, so I can put those little pieces of equipment on that a lot of folks, they're just not going to have because it's at my fingertips. So being able to just put something into a platform like that it's not an easy thing to do, but it's well worthwhile.
Yeah, yeah. And you seem like a problem solver, right?
Can't resist it.
You can't resist it. I love that. But just trying to figure out, like, how can I make this work? And then you figure it out. Yeah. And now you're able to bring these tools anywhere where they're needed to teach or demonstrate or complete a job for somebody.
Yeah.
That's really incredible.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
So congrats on that. I mean, it's really cool.
Awesome.
And the Art Wagon, what a great name.
People will see it around. Well, it was the mobile blacksmith shop, but it's more. It's more than that. So
now it is. Yeah, absolutely. I want to talk a little bit about the 3D printing side of your business, because this is huge right now, right? Everyone knows about 3D printing. Small versions of 3D printers can be bought, right, pretty easily by anyone. But what you're dealing with is a little different than, someone making this is the only example I have, Steve, and you're probably going to crack up. There is a man on Instagram who makes helmets for his cat.
I have seen cat helmets.
Okay.
Yeah, my cats may need helmets at some point. The Batman one especially.
Oh, especially the Batman one.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my understanding of what 3D printing is.
It's that and everything more.
It's so much more, yeah. So kind of take us to because I'm really intrigued by this. Like, take us to the beginning. Like, when did you say, I'm going to get into 3D printing?
I think I needed it was leather debossing dies, so making patterns, and then I assumed that they would be able to handle reasonable tonnage. And then when I expanded or experimented with that, then yes, they did. And then at some point I needed metal pressing dies, and then I made those. And I make my own tools a lot of the time. Honestly, I can make a tool. I mean, not everything, of course, but I can make a tool faster than it takes me to go to the hardware store. So I'll just bring up CAD design and I'll design it, and then I'll 3D print it and just stay at the homestead.
That's so cool. That's really cool. So that's kind of how it came to be. You're like, how can I just make my own tools?
Well, an example is, so over the winter I was logging a portion of the property. Okay. I had an issue where I needed some bushings so that I could make the difference between a piece of equipment and my tractor. Okay. And in like 5 minutes, I designed the part, and then I 3D printed them. I'm like, they do fine for debossing dies. I bet you they'll hand up to the tonnage of the skidding rig. And they absolutely did.
Now, were you a little nervous trying that out? Or did you just...
No.
I trust this. This is going to work.
No, I didn't trust that it was going to work. But I knew that I wasn't going to break anything that bad.
Okay, fair.
It's more, if you're going to do things that are really off the beaten path, you just have to have a really good eye for what you should do and what you really should not.
Okay, fair.
And that was in the realm of, I will just eyeball this thing once a half hour for a while and then see how it performs. And actually, I haven't had to replace it. And I took out... oh gosh, it was a full truckload, like a double logging truck load.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you get into 3D printing.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of trial and error, though, right?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
There still
naturally.
is.
Yeah. and you've upgraded the machines.
Yeah. Progressively so. Now I have a large format machine that I'm running some jobs on for a local company, and that's going really well.
Nice.
And then I have a shipment of it's like 4 other machines that are coming in today, and my new employee is going to receive that while I'm gone. So that's really great.
That's really exciting.
So, yeah, I have those, and then I use it for all sorts of things. So I use it for positive dyes for metal casting. So you can 3D print whatever you want, and then you can make silicone molds, and at that point, then you can make wax positives if you're going to do lost wax method casting, or if you're just going to do something that parts really well, you can just do sand casting. I teach sand casting, too. That's one of the things I do.
What is sand casting?
Sand casting is it's a really old technique where you're taking sand and you're making impressions, and then you are pouring metal into the recess and then making whatever it is. So in ancient times, it was more along the lines of making weapons and things of that regard, Bronze Age stuff. And there's a lot to get into with that, but so being able to do CAD design and then turn something into metal with just a couple of steps is really pretty amazing. And I actually have to build a cast iron furnace later this year because I need a bunch of parts for those fly presses, and the burners for that are amazing. They're basically little rocket engines, so I got to make some rocket engines.
Oh my god! Just casually, I just got to make some rocket engines. No big deal.
Yeah.
This is really incredible. I think it's a little challenging to really picture what you're referring to truly on a scale, correct?
Well, people are welcome to take the tour.
Oh, totally.
That's the easiest way.
Yeah. But you're out there on your property just making everything and anything that you might need.
Pretty much, yeah.
And it sounds like with each project, each job, a new inspiration comes.
Yeah, it's really great.
I love the way your brain works.
it's always so fun.
Yeah.
It's always by season. I'm never bored. Sometimes I'm a little overwhelmed because there's just too much that's popping at one time.
Sure.
But that's a really good problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you want to tell us a little bit about your blacksmithing work?
For instance, it's really varied. So when I was at the history fair, for example, I went over to chat with the reenactors with the Civil War group. I forget their exact regiment. And they said, "Oh, you're a blacksmith. Take a seat." I said, "Sure." Yeah, so I sat down. We were talking about some things. I said, "Can you make that over there?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Yeah, I can make that." And then like, "Have you ever fixed a sponge bucket before?" I was like, "No." "What is a sponge bucket?"
Yeah, what is
so then they bring,
bucket?
come take a trip over to the cannon.
Okay.
So they showed me this bucket, and it was in a sad state, and it was possibly going to damage equipment. So they said, "Can you fix this for us?" And I said, "Well, yeah, sure." I said, "Honestly, with the gauge of metal there, you put that in a hot fire overnight, and that's going to take care of most of your problem, and then you just recoat it."
Oh.
So it's kind of funny because as the reason that I got into blacksmithing was because it's so versatile. Mm-hmm. So it isn't just one thing where you're making pretty things. It's, like in the old tradition of blacksmith, that's kind of what I am, is I fix things.
Yeah.
And sometimes it involves coal or propane. But I also am a welder, so between that and the other things, usually things are not broken forever and nothing is an emergency. So people bring things to me, the fun guy in the woods who wears funny shirts, and I fix things for them or make things for them.
Sure.
Is that a decent description?
Absolutely.
Okay.
My goodness. And it sounds like it might be a fun part of the job, too.
It's all fun.
It's all fun.
A good life is designed, not endured.
There it is. There it is. Well, Steve, we're nearing the end of the show.
Yeah.
I know you guys have a Facebook.
Yeah.
People are probably going to want to learn more.
Oh, sure.
You have a website, too, correct?
Yeah, ourhappybees.com.
Love that. I believe there's an opportunity to purchase
all sorts of things on there,
yeah.
and we're just about to roll out the tool section of it because I really need to catch up on that because there's a lot going on right now.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. So I encourage everyone to visit your website.
Yeah, please
I
do.
know I have gotten, obviously, honey from you guys. I've gotten candles, which are really awesome. But you got a lot going on.
Yeah, a couple things.
Just a few things. Well, Steve, I want to thank you for being on the show today and, opening up and telling us your story and sharing all the awesome things you're doing, between the art wagon and the 3D printing and everything in between. You got a lot of jobs, a lot of things you're doing, but I love that you're always willing to teach and share that with the community as well. So
it's an absolute honor to be able to do that.
Awesome. I love it. All right, Steve, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
And that's all the time we have for today on I'm In with the ARCC. Be sure to tune in next week.